tariff talk, since we're in the Huawei mentality right now, it's had some other consequences as well. We talked in yesterday's episode about how Foxconn stated that Apple could move a lot of its production for U.S. destined iPhones outside of China to avoid certain tariffs, to avoid restrictions. And they were saying, okay, we can move some to India, maybe Taiwan, where Foxconn is headquartered. Other brands apparently are doing the same thing, including Google. They are moving their US-bound Nest thermostats and motherboards to Taiwan to avoid these potential 10 to 25% US import tariffs. These are incredibly popular products. I'm sure you've seen a Nest thermostat in your life at some point. So they're made in China, like pretty much everything else. And Google is already putting pieces in place to move the production. Moving the production of something like this is not easy. It's not an easy undertaking. They obviously think that it's possible. But they probably know something. Here's the thing. You're not going to just do that on a whim. You're just going to pack up and leave. Now, China has warned companies, allegedly, that they will face permanent consequences if they cooperate with the Trump administration trade restrictions. So they obviously, you don't want these big customers and employers in your country just bouncing. You're not going to just stand by and be happy about that. So Google, they move their Nest thermostats, they move their motherboards to Taiwan, but they're not alone, in fact. Video game consoles are also something similar is happening for Nintendo. They're going to move, what is it, Nintendo Switch manufacturing? I believe it's in here somewhere. Items like motherboards, smartphones, video game consoles, and computers could all be subject to 25% tax. And Nintendo would then have to sell its consoles at a loss in the U.S. to meet that criteria for the 25% tax. So they would be another one likely to move their production outside of China. I mean, they just can't exist if that's the case. So that goes to show you, first of all, how slim the margins are on some of these products. Game consoles historically have had slim margins. But to make it impossible to sell the product at a loss, it's not viable. So they'd be another one that would have to move outside of China. So this whole thing, it escalates. Did you know, Will, that the Game of Thrones finale was blocked in China as well?
Oh.
So it's not just hardware.
That's unfortunate.
It's reaching into media. It's reaching into content. It's the whole thing is heating up. But Google seems to be the first to get the ball rolling. And interestingly enough, Google, the same company that was going to bat for Huawei, trying to get things sorted out, did they know something, Will? Are they in the know? Are they inside the inner sanctum? Have they been made aware, like, hey, this ain't going anywhere. You better boogie out of China because this 25%, it's coming, and it's coming quick. Maybe so. I'm not quite sure. One thing I can say for certain, China can't be happy about it because I'm telling you, man, it's one thing to lose a client. It's another thing to lose an entire factory, to watch all those people go from employed to unemployed. I mean, you can't be happy about it. Chairman Simon Lin at Winston Corp, which makes servers for Facebook and Microsoft, said on Wednesday, it too is looking to shift its production away from China and perhaps to the U.S., but didn't elaborate or specify which product. So this, you could see this continuing to happen. And you know the thing, Will? When you sell something, what do you need?
When you product.
You need a product? What else do you need?
Brand, a company.
No, you need two things. You need a product and you need a customer. You need somebody to buy the product. That's otherwise what you got a product for. Turns out, Will, the argument here is that the customer is more important than the supplier. That's the argument. Because you wouldn't be supplying anything if you didn't have a customer for it. And the U.S. still represents the prestigious customer. And they're starting to flex on that. And you can see how the customer calls the shots. Right? You might have a restaurant, Will. And you might be serving delicious food. And the customer comes in and they say, you know what? I want you to make XYZ. And you say, no, I'm not going to do it. Get out of town. Now, if that customer's got a lot of friends and he says, you know what? I don't like that guy. You better stay away from his restaurant. All the friends are like, but his food, it's really, and he's like, shut up. And they're like, ooh. You see? You see how that goes?
Yeah.
Customers powerful, especially in today's day and age. Customers very powerful. Calls the shots. Customer is always right, even when he's not. You know, you've heard this stuff. This is old stuff. Even when the customer's wrong, he's somehow right in certain circumstances, and if his muscles are big enough. You see how that goes? Now, when you open your restaurant, what type of delicious food you going to serve?
All Jamaican patties.
There it is. You heard it. I'll be the first one in the door telling you what to change. Flexing. No, I'm just kidding. I will love your Jamaican patties. I'll be all over it. Just make them spicy enough, all right? That's the main thing. Make them spicy.